And that's right, the Comets have played 8 games of their total 32 already. Good evening and welcome to Comets Faceoff, pregame show for Utica Comets home games. I'm David Edelstein. We've had hockey back now for 1 month, and Utica is already looking to get into mid-season form, but they're coming off a loss last week to the same team that they're about to play tonight, the Rochester Americans. It was recently on February 26th that the Comets were coming off their longest scheduled break of the season, 7 days since Utica had last played. And it was also the last time that Utica played at home. Just the Comets' second time at home, even though it was their 6th game. Utica looked to jump back into game action, and they did just that. Looking sharp early, John Stevens out to the left takes it from the young guys. Jonah Gadjevic and Jack Rathbone get the assists. Rathbone's first professional point in his first professional game that night, by the way. 1-0 Utica at the first intermission, but Rochester ties it 1-1 in period 2. Then John Stevens is starting to set him up well, too. The rebound comes out. He's there. Tanner Kaspick and Will Lockwood got it over to him, and he scores 2 in a row. The Comets regain the lead 2-1. It was tied at 2 at the break. These games have been so close against the Americans, but the third period was not close at all. It was all Utica, 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 Utica. Yeah, that's right. 5 goals for the Comets to take the win, 7-2. The next day, the Comets on the road in Syracuse. Rathbone swings the corner early in the first, and Vincent Arsenault winds up taking this puck. He scores. A little waltz dance right there. Nice moves. Dancing with the Stars, maybe. Comets on the board quickly with 2 minutes, 3 seconds in. 1-0 Utica. Then 6 minutes later, the shot winds up coming up from the back. That one goes around and is in through traffic, tipped in by Cole Lind. His first goal, by the way, in 2 weeks. So let's see that again. The deflection right on point makes it 2-0 Utica. Sven Berchi had a penalty shot, by the way, after that. He got tripped, but did not score. So 2-1 Utica at the first break. Now midway through period 2, Robbie Jackson disrupts play, and the quick move by Arsenault crashing the net. Perfect positioning to score. What a mistake by Samuel Montembeau. And here's your stay-friendly moment of the game. 3-2 Utica in the final minute of play, and Cole Lind had the empty net ready to go, but he gave the shot back to Berchi to put it away. They each get a point on that. That's just nice teammates right there. Seals the deal. Comets beat the Crunch 4-2. 4 days later, back at Rochester last Wednesday now. Comets playing Rochester for the 4th time this season already after going 5-2 in the first month of the year. And Cole Lind wants to give the team a quick start in March, but he passes it to Lockwood. And then guess who's there? First minute of play, Gadjevic, right in the crease to score 59 seconds in. Talk about a quick start to the month. Now he's second in the league in scoring, Gadjevic, by the way. Comets on the power play late in period 3. A slam is ready by Jack Rathbone. That, you ladies and gentlemen, have just witnessed his first professional goal. That cuts the deficit to 1. By the way, Rathbone had 5 points in 3 games at that point. Comets had 8 power plays in the game. That's a lot. Many of them late in period 3, but that's the only one they'd convert on. Empty netter for Rochester wound up sealing the deal in that one, and the Comets lose 4-2. So this leaves the Comets now coming into tonight's game in 5th place. They have 11 points in 8 games, which actually ranks Utica in 3rd place in points percentage in the division and 8th in points percentage in the entire league. Comets have 3 games in hand right now over the 1st place Bears, if you're keeping track. Utica's been neck and neck with Rochester, like you said, all season, including in most games they've played against each other so far this year. And let's look at team comparisons. Early on this season, the Americans and the Comets pretty comparable. Same records as we just mentioned, but Utica just got an extra point from the shootout loss to Rochester, so a little bit of an advantage there with 1 less game played. Americans now have the 3rd best power play percentage in the league so far this season, though, with 12 goals on 38 man advantages. That's the most power play goals of any team in the league so far, but the Amerks power play has cooled down over the past 2 weeks, going just 5 for 20. That's 25% though, which is the same as the Comets' overall power play percentage this year. So still good enough for the top 3rd of the league. But the penalty kill for both teams has been a totally different story. Both of them in the bottom half range. So here are the names that have made it all happen for Utica. Gadjevic and Lind lead the team in points. Cole Lind also leads the team here in this category, but you won't be seeing him tonight, though, as head coach Trent Cole says he's actually not an option for the game after getting hit in the face last game. Lucas Jasek and defenseman Mitch Ranke lead the Comets in assists with 6. Jonah Gadjevic has clearly come out of his shell recently. You see his name there twice now. 6 goals over his last 5 games to lead the team with 7. That's more than half the number of goals he had in all of last year in just a quarter of the games played. So for you statistics fans out there, that means he's scoring twice as fast. Jack Rathbone has taken the AHL by storm, of course. Head coach Trent Cole says it's pretty amazing to watch Rathbone adjust to the league so quickly after leaving college 2 years ago, and then, 2 years early rather, and then just not even playing a game for more than a year up to this point. So it's been pretty good for him. And Sven Berchi now leads the team in putting the puck on net. He has 2 goals, 4 assists off his 21 shot attempts. Looking at the Americans, John Sebastian D leads with 12 points, most of them from his team-leading 8 assists. Stephen Fogarty leads in goals with 5, 3 of them actually coming against Utica this season. 2 of them in the Comets' last home game. D and CJ Smith have been solid offensive pieces for Rochester, each of them scoring more than a point per game. And watch out, when D and Remy Ellie are on the ice, you'll hear their names probably a lot. The Amerks score much more when they're on the ice than their opponents do. So now we have all the names, but you should look out for them tonight. But what about the names that are not mentioned right here? 5 Comets players already have been called up to the Blues organization over the past 3 weeks. What does this mean for the Comets as they start their younger guys and put them into new roles? We'll have St. Louis Blues AHL General Manager Kevin McDonald on the line to break down his thoughts on the situation after the break.
This is your Utica Comets pregame show with Eyewitness News Sports Director David Edelstein. Utica Comets Faceoff.
5 Utica Comets players have been called up to the NHL taxi squad now for the St. Louis Blues over just the past 3 weeks. It's forwards Nathan Walker, Dakota Joshua, and Sam Annis, defenseman Steve Santini, and now goalie John Gillies. All of them were called. And as the St. Louis Blues have dealt with injuries, they've had to kind of step in at that level, meaning that younger guys are stepping in the Comets. And to discuss this whole situation and all the moves and what it means for the Utica Comets, we welcome in St. Louis Blues scout and AHL general manager Kevin McDonald. Welcome. Kevin, you've been in an interesting view of this team this whole time. It's your responsibility actually to basically oversee the prospects for the Blues organization and also their development. So what do you see from your perspective in a situation like this?
Dakota Joshua, like, you almost could make it into a movie someday. Like, what he's gone through over the last year, where he played at least 20 games in the East Coast League last year, was in and out of the San Antonio lineup, never, taken for granted he was going to see his name and play. He was only one of 2 players under NHL contract that the Blues didn't bring in for training camp because we had restrictions with the numbers. But, you were there during training camp, as was I. He caught everybody's eye just with his penalty kill ability. All of a sudden is like, holy cow, like there's something here. And it was great. Like, I talked to Doug Armstrong, the Blues general manager at the time of the call up, and like, we just felt like it was the right message at the time for everybody. Like, here's a kid that we haven't handed anything to, but he's gone out and with his level of play and consistency earned the call up. And, you've been at all the games. I don't even know if we've got him off the 4th line. Like, very rarely does a guy go from 4th line American League to 4th line NHL unless he's, more of a toughness player. But for Dakota, it's been great. And then we've asked him to switch positions and play center at the same time with his first NHL call-up. And, the pure joy on his face when he scored that goal on the bench, I mean, that gave a boost to our bench. It was great for everybody.
So you're saying a player like Dakota Joshua, who has put in that work here with the Comets, then makes it to the NHL, scores his first goal in his first NHL game. He's kind of the example, and the other guys who have been watching him all season understand what that's like. So with 5 players now called up, that should allow other players to actually step up here and see what they can do.
I'll give you probably the best example that comes to my mind right now is Hugh McGing. And I know, like, that's where, Vancouver and Utica, everybody's been so great to work with. But like Drew Bannister and Trent Cull are talking every day. And it's not, it's lineup, it's lines, it's how we're going to use guys. But, like, we're trying to, so everybody gets to showcase themselves and earn a little bit more ice time and at least get the chance to sustain a bigger role. And, Hugh McGing, if he's not on the power play, then we're trying to get him on the penalty kills. So he's, even if he's on the fourth line, when some of these games, there's a lot of penalties. He's not completely just, waiting for 5-on-5 to get back out there. But he's also getting that experience because, it's what you find with Dakota. Dakota's a perfect example. Like, as a player in college, believe it or not, Dakota hardly ever got on the penalty kill. Like, he was a power play guy. So now he turns pro and he's trying to learn a new skill, but he's learning it against the best players in the world. And it's not uncommon for that. Like, as you evolve and go up higher, like, you have to learn to be a Swiss Army knife and do more of everything, because just like Dakota switching to center, you never know what's going to be the one extra thing that gets you in the lineup that next night, and then you get a chance to stay there.
Well, Kevin McDonald, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we're going to see some of those guys step up tonight. Puck drops just in a few minutes. After the break, we'll turn it over to Jason Shia for the Comets' rest of the pregame show. We'll have highlights later tonight on Eyewitness News on WUTR and WFXV. So until then, enjoy the game, everybody. And as always, stay friendly and stay tuned.